The first rule of the Galenic Academy was simple: know who could kill you. Every student learned it within the first hour of orientation. The Academy gathered the most dangerous species from across known space, training them to become officers, diplomats, tacticians, and, when necessary, living weapons for the United Stellar Coalition. Predators studied beside poison-blooded assassins. Telepaths ate lunch next to hive minds that could tear apart cities if provoked. And then there was Zyra Teal of Corvash. Her name alone was enough to make most lecture halls fall quiet. Zyra sat near the back of Combat Theory Hall 7, long to loned fingers folded neatly on her desk. Her species resembled tall, lithe humanoids with obsidian skin threaded by faint crimson veins, veins that glowed brighter when adrenaline surged. Two backward-sweeping horns crowned her head, polished smooth like black glass. Her eyes were slit pupils in a field of molten gold. She was classified as Category Crimson, a walking extinction event. Corvash females were engineered by evolution and wore to be apex killers. Zyra had personally ended 3 interplanetary conflicts before she was 18 standard cycles old. Records said she had survived orbital bombardment, atmospheric re-entry without armor, and hand-to-hand combat against a mechanized dread soldier. No one sat next to her unless assigned. Today, someone had been assigned. The door slid open with a soft hiss, and a murmur rippled through the hall. The professor, an elderly Threxian whose chitinous plates bore the scars of a dozen wars, paused mid-sentence. A human walked in. Not just any human. A young one. He was smaller than most species present, physically unimpressive by Academy standards. No claws. No horns. No visible natural weapons. He wore the standard gray Academy uniform, sleeves rolled up slightly, revealing bare forearms with faint scars. His name tag read, Alex Mercer, Terra. The human glanced around the hall, clearly aware of the attention, then checked his data pad. Seat 47, he muttered. Zyra's seat. A ripple of disbelief passed through the class.
No.
They wouldn't. Surely the assignment system. Alex stopped beside Zyra's desk. For a long moment, neither spoke. Zyra slowly lifted her gaze to him. Her pupils narrowed. A subtle pressure rolled outward, her species' instinctive dominance field. Lesser beings often froze or fled under it. Alex felt it. His shoulders tensed for half a second. Then he smiled. Not a mocking smile. Not a nervous one. Just calm. Warm even. Hey, he said casually. Looks like we're desk partners. The hall fell completely silent. Even the ambient hum of the station seemed quieter. Zyra blinked. Once. No one smiled at her like that. She had been feared, worshipped, targeted, and hated, but never greeted as if she were just another student. You are unafraid, Zyra said slowly, her voice smooth and dangerous, layered with harmonics that made weaker species shudder. Alex shrugged and slid into the seat beside her. I figure if you wanted me dead, I'd already be dead. Several students visibly recoiled. The professor cleared his throat. Class, we will proceed. But no one was listening. The first half of the lecture passed in strained quiet. Zyra could feel eyes flicking between her and the human. She sensed tension, anticipation. Some students even leaned forward, waiting for the moment she snapped. She didn't. Not because she couldn't. Because she was curious. Humans were new to the coalition. Recent arrivals, relatively speaking. Their species had survived internal wars, planetary collapse threats, and first-contact skirmishes that should have wiped them out. They were rated low on raw physical danger, but high on adaptability. Still, this one should have been afraid. Why did you smile? Zyra asked suddenly, without looking at him. Alex glanced over. When When you first Saturday, he thought for a moment. Seemed rude not to. She turned fully toward him, golden eyes boring into his face. You know what I am. I read the briefing, he admitted. Deadliest female combatant in the academy. Category Crimson. Corvash. And yet, he said, you're also a classmate who hasn't done anything to me. Something tightened in Zaira's chest. An unfamiliar sensation. The lecture ended shortly after. As students filed out, they gave Zaira a wide berth, except Alex, who gathered his things at a normal pace. You should choose a different seat next time, Zaira said quietly. For your safety. Alex paused. Is that a threat? A warning. He smiled again, smaller this time. I'll think about it. He walked away. Zaira watched him go, unsettled in a way no battlefield had ever made her feel. The second week brought combat simulation labs. This was where reputations were made or ended. Students were paired randomly, then thrown into holographic war zones designed to push them to failure. Zaira had never failed. Her opponent materialized across the simulated battlefield. Alex Mercer. The class erupted into whispers. The professor's voice boomed. Simulation parameters. Adaptive urban combat. Non-lethal restraints engaged. Begin. The cityscape formed around them. Ruined buildings, drifting ash, distant sirens. Zaira moved instantly, vanishing in a blur of speed that shattered concrete beneath her feet. Alex didn't. He stood still, eyes scanning, breathing steady. Zaira struck from behind, talons stopping a hair's breadth from his throat. Match over, she said softly. Alex raised his hands slowly. You got me. The system chimed. Simulation continues. Adaptive response required. Zaira frowned. What? The ground beneath her feet shifted. Explosions rocked the street as Alex triggered a delayed environmental collapse, something no one had noticed him setting up. Buildings fell, smoke filled the air, sensors overloaded. Zaira leapt back, momentarily disoriented. Alex ran. Not away from her, but around her. He used the terrain, timing, distractions. He never once tried to overpower her. Instead, he forced her to react, adjust, adapt. Minutes passed. The deadliest alien girl in the academy was breathing hard. Alex finally skidded to a stop, turning to face her. He was bruised, uniform torn, blood at his lip. But he was smiling. Tag, he said, and activated a non-lethal restraint grenade at her feet. Energy bands snapped around Zaira's limbs. The simulation ended. Silence filled the lab. Then the professor laughed, a harsh, delighted sound. Remarkable, the Threxian said. Corvash dominance defeated by human ingenuity. Zaira stared at Alex. No one had ever defeated her without killing her. After that, things changed. Students stopped seeing Alex as prey and started seeing him as something else. Not a warrior. Not a monster. A problem. Zaira found herself seeking him out, sitting beside him by choice, training with him after hours, debating tactics late into the cycle. You don't fight like you want to win, she said once. Alex shrugged. I fight like I want everyone to go home. She considered that. That is strange. He smiled. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Weeks turned into months. Rumors spread. The deadliest alien girl was laughing, smiling, spending time with a human. Some didn't like it. The attack came without warning. A splinter faction opposed to human coalition membership breached the academy during a joint assembly. Shields failed. Explosions tore through the central spire. Students panicked. Zaira reacted instantly, tearing through attackers with lethal precision. Blood stained the marble floors. Then she sensed it. Alex. But when he turned to leave, neither twin moved. Lyra stepped closer. "You will come with us." Elias blinked. "What?" "You are bonded now," LYSS said. "The ship knows you. We know you." I don't belong with your people," Elias said carefully. "I'm human. I've got my own life." The twins' expressions faltered, fear returning. But this time, it wasn't of death or danger. It was of loss. "You are leaving," Lyra said softly. Elias hesitated. He hadn't planned on this. He told himself this was just another job, another wreck in the void. But standing there, surrounded by a ship that pulsed warmly and two beings who had trusted him with everything they had left, it didn't feel so simple. "I won't disappear," he said finally. "I'll escort you to the rendezvous. Make sure you get there safe." LYSS studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Then that is enough. For now." The journey took weeks. The Starwoven adapted quickly, integrating Elias's modifications and moving more gracefully with each jump. Along the way, Elias taught the twins more about engineering, navigation, and human culture. In return, they taught him how to listen to the ship, to the silence between stars, to the quiet emotions he'd spent years ignoring. When they finally reached the Varelian gathering region, dozens of living ships greeted them, their lights shimmering in recognition. There were tears and songs and long moments of reunion. Elias watched from the ramp of his ship, hands in his pockets, feeling strangely out of place and strangely proud. When Lyra and LYSS returned to him one last time, they embraced him in the Varelian way, foreheads touching, light pulsing gently between them. "You will always be welcome," Lyra said. "And the ship will remember you," LYSS added. Elias smiled, voice rough. "Take care of each other." As the Starwoven departed, joining the living fleet, Elias returned to the Wayfarer's knot and set a new course. The void felt quieter than before. But for the first time in a long while, Elias didn't feel alone. Somewhere out there, a living ship sailed among the stars, whole again. And it hadn't wanted him to leave.